my God, it is so good to be back again. I am back. I am back. I am back. It is official. I want to thank you guys so much for your DMs, your text messages, your emails, your listens, your likes, your views. I appreciate all of that stuff. Thank you guys so much. I did not know what an impact my little podcast had. Just to get you all up to speed, give you a background, I created the podcast over the pandemic. I am a product entrepreneur. I had at the time just received the patent for a licensed feminine hygiene product that I was pitching to different companies. And at the time, I didn't know anybody else that was doing the same thing that I was doing and that didn't face the same hurdles that I had faced. So I created a podcast to motivate myself, which it turned out that the podcast was motivating everybody else. So I appreciate the love, the 2-year hiatus, the patience that you guys had for me. Life had been life and things have changed for the better, for the good. So I just want to talk about where have I been and what have I been doing? Well, let me start off by saying that I am in a new city, a new state. I left my hometown of Miami, Florida. Your girl went to go do bigger and better things. But no, what happened was, how I ended up north was that at the time, and you will hear me say this a lot, I do a lot of comparison between spiritual and natural because the two go together. I feel as though that God could talk to you in anything, that you don't have to wait until Sunday or wait until a live stream happens or anything like that. He's going to talk to you in the now, right there in the moment. So what eventually happened was that in 2023, I wanted to move to Georgia in 2024. I did not have any plans to move. Like life happens sometimes. Some things are just spur of the moment. I did not plan on moving to Georgia. I did not want to move to Georgia at the time. I was actually, I had toiled with the idea, everybody moving up here, everybody's going to Atlanta. If you're not going to Atlanta, you're going to Texas. And I did not want to be one of them. I always say if I move, I want to make sure I have a plan. So Georgia was not on my mind at the time because I wanted to move in 2024 because, I wanted to make sure all my little ducks was in a row. All my I's were dotted and T's was crossed. Well, sometimes you don't get what you want in life. It just don't happen like that. One day I couldn't renew my lease. The private landlord I was renting from, they had some issues going on their end, and your girl had to be out in 30 days. So, and it was like right at the tip of summer. And I was like, okay, well, since I got this free time on my hands, let me start looking, because if you don't know, Miami's rent is at an all-time high. I don't know what they're selling down there with the rent. I don't know what else they're promising you, but it is too darn high. And it's just me. I'm by myself. So I had to make the best decision that I could for me and get up out of there. No, I toiled with that thought because Miami is home. That is the only city that I've lived in all my life. I don't know any other city. That's the only city I know like the back of my hand. As a matter of fact, the church that I had grew up in, I had been in that church since I was 14, and I'm 36 now. I have been in that church pretty much all my life. The doctor that I had, my primary care doctor, she was once my pediatrician. So once I got older, I never transitioned to a primary care doctor. She just stayed my doctor. The dentist that I had, when my dentist retired, his daughter then took over the practice and became my dentist. So everything was very familiar with me. Everything had a lot of history with me. And being in Miami, growing up in Miami, made me who I am today. And I feel like at that moment, there was a lot of lessons learned just in the move. And one of the things that I realized is that when I had to move, I realized that it was time for me to go. I realized that I had outgrown what I knew to be normal, and I couldn't get what I needed from Miami anymore. There are some things personally later on podcast coming up I'll talk about. There are personal goals that I have that I know cannot be fulfilled in Miami. Now, I could stay in Miami if I want, but it would have been harder for me to fulfill the goals that I have in mind. So it was best that it was time for me to go. And that was the first lesson. Learning when to leave. Learning when your time is up. I can't stay somewhere because of history, because of comfortability. It's going to stagnate my growth. You ever seen a pond where, I think I said this before on other episodes, but you ever seen like a pool or a lake that has no movement, that nobody hasn't used, and you see how it changes color and it starts to grow all types of stuff and all sorts of critters and insects and creepy crawly stuff starts growing in there that you never saw before, and the water's muddy and it's murky and it's dirty and you look like it's infested. I feel as though that's kind of how it is like in life, right? You have to keep on going. You have to keep on moving. If I stay there, I'm going to be stagnant. It's going to stump my growth. And stuff that I don't need to be doing, stuff that I don't need to be involved in, is going to affect my growth. And it's not going to make me the person that I need to be. I'm not going to be my full self. I'm not going to reach my full potential. Another thing I realized was that while I was packing my stuff, I didn't have a lot of things in my place that I had been in. So, and being that it was a last minute move, I didn't need a moving truck. So everything was going in the car. And I realized that as I'm packing up my stuff and looking, there are some things I want to keep and some things I've had with me till forever. And some things was taking up space, but I still want it. And I realized that, all this stuff can go with me. Some of this stuff is going to have to stay. Some of this stuff won't make it on this 10-hour trip that I got to make from Miami to Georgia. Everything can't go with you. Some things are not necessary. Some things will just take up space. Some things will just pull you down. Some things will just take you back to that place. I had some stuff that people had gave me that I no longer talk to. And it was just sentimental. And I know if I looked at it, it would bring me back to that moment. And it wasn't necessary. Some of that stuff just had to stay. Some of that stuff couldn't go. Now, there were some things that I wanted to take with me, and I could have took with me. I could have tied it down to the car. I could have folded it, squeezed it up in there, tied it to the hood, got it in there somewhere. But that would have been too much weight on my car. And I probably could have made the trip, but it would have been uncomfortable. Or worse, it probably would have ended up flying off the roof anyway. Like, it probably wouldn't have even made it there. Everything can't go. And that was one of the hardest things that I had to realize, was that all y'all can't come. Some of this stuff gonna have to stay behind. Some of that stuff was given to me over the years. And in life, you have your seasons, right? In life, you have your seasons where you change. Seasons change. Don't no season remain the same. Seasons change and you grow from season to season. So in the natural, that's speaking metaphorically, but in the natural, such as life, there are some things, there are some people, there are some habits, there are some addictions, there are some places where I just don't need to go no more. It's not going to fulfill me. I'm past this now. I've outgrown this, and I need to, one, grow up. As you get older, day by day, you should be maturing. You should be getting better. Your mindset should be getting different. Not that you're being, high and mighty and Mrs. Such and much and none of that stuff, but you should be transitioning, right, for the better. You should be growing, because we have goals. And you're also here for a purpose. I don't care what nobody says. Any day above ground is a great day. And as long as you're here walking and talking and breathing, you are here for a purpose. You are here for somebody. You may not see it. You may not know it, but it's somebody out there that's depending on you. It's somebody out there that's watching you. They may not tell you, but it's somebody out there that's watching you. And it's somebody that wish that they were in your shoes. So you have to keep on going, right? You have to keep on going, and you have to keep on growing. One of the things that I like to do one of the things that I did do one year at the top of the new year was that I took a little notepad and I just wrote down all of the nice things that I like about myself, all of the great things about myself. And I took those sheets of paper, folded them up and put them in like a little box. So that way throughout the year, wherever I felt down or anything like that, I would just, stick my hand in there and pull out a note that I wrote, and that would give myself some type of encouragement, right? Because you don't want to forget who you are. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget the good things that happens, because just like a move, you lose things in the move, you misplace things in the move. And sometimes in life you lose yourself. some things in life, you forget exactly who you are. So when I moved to Georgia, and I don't recommend this for nobody, I happen to move in the summertime where everything is outside. Outside is open back up. Festivals everywhere. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how many festivals I have went to. And one thing that I want to talk about is focus, right? Do not lose focus ever. Yes, I'm in a new city, but I have the same goals and I have the same focus. And for me, it was sort of like a Dora the Explorer type of moment. Like, I want to see what's out there in the city. So don't forget that you have goals, right? I have goals. You have goals. And one of the things I realized is that you want to use the resources that's available to you, just like I would use resources that was available to me back at home. I want to see what's out there. I want to see what I can get into. I want to see what can help me grow, what can help me with my goals, right? One day I was dropping off my little cousins to school, and I'm new to the area still. And I was like, well, let me just look around and try to, remember some landmarks, remember some streets and where I am. And I just happened to look over my shoulder, like you just randomly look. And I saw a sign on the building that said Innovation Hub. What's the Innovation Hub? What is that? Thank God for Google, right? Went online, come to find out there are different types of innovation hubs throughout the city. An innovation hub for tech, for electric vehicles, for different type of products. And I've never heard of such a thing. We don't have that back at home in Miami. And these are innovation hubs that you can go to and test your ideas, create your ideas, and bounce them off of other innovators. That is one resource that helped me out a lot. That is something that I can use. And wherever you are, you have to maximize your moment wherever you are at, right? Even if it's not there, you got to go out and get it. You may have to Google, you may have to travel some distance or whatever, but you have to go out there and you have to make things happen. And that was one of the things that I realized. I'm like, okay, I'm outside, I'm having fun at these festivals, but I also need to stay grounded and I also need to be focused. Well, I'm going to leave you with that for now. I will also be back. I promise it's not going to take me a year or two to come back for another episode. But I want to leave you all with that because we have we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of pointers, a lot of motivation in building ourselves up and continue to hit these points in life and continue to thrive in life. Because at this point, we're not going to give up, right? We're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on striving. We're going to keep on trying. And we don't go through things. We grow through things. So I'll be back later on with some more topics.